Welcome to the Evangelistic House of God podcast.
Unscripted discussions on social issues from a Christian's perspective.
Hello and welcome to the Evangelistic House of God EHOG podcast. I am Pastor Rod Harris, joined by Esther Smith.
Hi guys.
Hey
guys.
What's going on, girl?
Good.
And Pastor Steve, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
I'm good.
I'm good too.
We finally got some sunshine, so I'm happy with this.
Me too.
I'm very happy about it.
You know, we had a huge windstorm the other day that knocked the power out.
Yes.
In most of our areas, there was over 5,000 people in Detroit and surrounding suburbs without power. And
I still don't have power.
Still ain't got power.
Nope. They talking about not till Sunday.
Yeah, so that's like 3 or 4 days away. So that's not a good thing.
It's not.
50-mile-an-hour winds.
I know.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I ended up with a house full of refugees.
By the way, he's calling us the refugees, me and my family.
Yeah.
Because I came over. How you gonna call us the refugees on
I was
campus?
very fortunate because I only had, when I came down, you know, the main street, you know, all of the businesses and stuff, all out of power. So it was like an eerie kind of feeling.
Yeah, because it's too dark.
It was not only dark, but there was no traffic. Wow. And so all of the traffic was just, you know, gone. So it was just like me, and I'm just like creeping around like, oh yeah,
right.
Should I be around here?
Right.
And I didn't know whether my power was out or not. So I'm looking around, and I don't see a lot as I'm driving through, you know, and I'm seeing the neighborhoods on the side. I don't see a lot of people, you know, with the lights on.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, maybe the 1 or 2 houses that I do see maybe have generators.
Okay.
Right.
But, you know, once I got home, I was like, oh, yes, it's on the porch light on.
Right. That is good.
Yeah, I was fortunate. Yes. We didn't lose power at all.
Yeah.
No, y'all did.
Every now and then my computers kept restarting, so I knew something was happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we never actually got dark enough and lost any power. So
that's good.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, because I had to come over, so.
Yeah, otherwise
really
I would have had everybody at my house.
Right, because I would have definitely came to you next. I'm just saying.
That's all right.
It's a beautiful thing to have people to lean on.
That's right.
Right, that's true.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had it any other way. We made pancakes. We sat around and listened to music.
True.
Man, I had the bomb playlist, did
Oh,
I?
here we go.
Did I
knew
not?
he was going to bring it up.
I wouldn't know I had to go to work.
He had a really good playlist.
Well, you know, I understand you had to go to work. I took the day off so I could take care of my refugees.
Okay.
Why can't he say his family?
My family.
That's all right. That's all right.
And so I took the time off to stay home. I made pancakes.
Right. That's
and
true.
I put on this bomb playlist. I even had to apologize to Jeff. I'm like, man, I am so sorry because I was cooking with my headphones on. And I thought about it. I'm like, dude, I am so sorry. I am enjoying all this wonderful music by myself. Let me go put this on the stereo so you can all hear it.
Oh, so you just had it to yourself. So
yes,
you must have just, let me say that, you must have just made your playlist then, correct?
Well, yes. I made a
that's
playlist
why he
that is the
continues.
bomb.
That's why he continues to boast.
Because that's how I am when I make playlists.
No, really.
At least for the first 2 weeks when you get sick of it.
Yeah.
And my playlist is so sweet. And it's called Boy You Better Sing.
And he kept reminding us of this the whole day. Like
every time a jam would come on, I say, "Boy, you better sing!"
Oh, okay.
He did. Seriously. Just
I
like
believe
that.
that. I just, you know, I don't know what to say. I have no words.
It was a good time.
Heck yeah, it was a good time. It was a good music. What's your favorite song right now?
I don't even know.
Well, you got to have, everybody got a favorite song now.
I don't know. I had a really good one. That I was, like I said, I can say the same one. The one that I like is shoot, I can't think of the song. It's something about, man, I can't think of it.
We'll come back to you. How about you?
Come back.
Mine is always Whitney Houston, I Love the Lord.
Oh yeah.
No matter what.
Oh.
I know it's older.
No, ain't nothing wrong with it. That's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear it, I just go somewhere, and it's just like, just hear that voice. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
I love that.
And it just always, no matter how many playlists I have, it just always seems to find its way
onto the playlist.
to that playlist.
Okay, I got mine now. I remember.
Okay. All right.
Dion Kipling, and it's called I'm Something to Talk About.
Oh yeah, I think I know that song.
Did you ever check it out?
I did. I listened to it once or twice.
Yeah.
You know, I got he one of those guys you got to get used to. You know, you got to listen to him 4, 5, 6 times.
No, you get.
Well,
you know,
I'm just saying it ain't
I'll
like an instant hit.
Yeah,
Let me see
just
what
listen to that song. I'm not telling you to listen to the whole
Can you just send
album.
it to me?
She don't have an iPhone or anything. She got a Droid.
Look, just because I don't have an iPhone don't mean I can sing you through Google Music.
Right.
I don't have to have an iPhone.
I just made a statement that you don't have an iPhone that you
it's-
can actually share the music with.
It's not mandatory.
It's okay.
It's not.
Just if you'll text me the name and the song, then
Yeah.
I can.
Next time we meet, let us know what you
on
think.
Apple Music.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Let us know what you think about it. I heard it a couple times. You know what? Like, oh yeah, this got to hear it. It ain't gonna make my Boy You Better Sing playlist.
Oh, here we go.
Well, I just want to see. Plus,
Yeah.
you know,
Just check it out.
our podcast is on Google Music and iTunes, so it's okay.
That is true.
So
It is.
Yeah, so I can't diss.
Can't
Google
you
Music.
can't do yeah, exactly. Somebody gotta have Android.
That's true. So my favorite song is Ty Trebbit.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
turned it.
Oh yeah.
I know it's like 40
I
years old,
love
but
Ty
always.
Tribbett.
That
That's
right there.
that's
Always.
a jam.
That'll get me going, whether I'm trying to shout, whether I'm trying to worship, whether I'm trying to just pray or focus.
Right.
I can listen to that sometime in my sleep.
Working out too.
Working out.
Because it gives you hype, you know.
Yes.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
you know, whenever I hear that, I always think of South Carolina when he had a concert there. We drove down to because we're from Michigan, and we drove down there. It was off the
That was
chain
the concert right
down
there.
there.
Man, I missed it.
We
That
had a
was
great
it.
time.
It was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't trying to throw shade on the other people that was
That
here.
was good too. But
Tamala Mann and Kirk Franklin and
yeah,
those guys.
they did a good job.
They
And,
sung. But
lady from Mary was there too.
yeah, Erica Campbell.
Erica.
I couldn't think of her name either.
I'm sorry.
But she really opened up. She threw down on that.
Everybody
good.
did, but when he came out, I mean,
It was just dynamic, huh?
Man,
Yeah.
and you could just see the energy from the young people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was like a high school or junior high school that was there. It was a good
Okay.
50, 60 kids on the side.
Yeah.
Man, they was losing it
Yeah.
when he came out.
Yeah.
I would have loved
It was really nice.
I would have loved to
Lots
see
of
him.
energy.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So, speaking of music, what do you think about this? This new music, like this hip hop.
Hip hop music.
Rap.
You know,
Look at his face. Wait, why did he say it to you in this way?
yeah, you know, I'm not a fan. It's not anything
No.
that I can get into
No.
or relate to.
It's hard.
And to be honest with you, I really don't even want to relate to that. It's just not. It's not something that is conducive to my ears
Agreed.
and my time to sit there and listen to these kids denigrate women and talk about killing the police and
all of the
doing
drugs.
all the drugs and using and all of the, the stereotypical stuff that we trying to get rid of and they're promoting.
Yes.
And that's just not. It's just nothing that I can see. It's not constructive in any way.
It's not.
But
And so I don't listen to it.
I just want to correct you, and forgive the correction, Pastor.
Yeah.
But you said these young kids.
Okay.
Singing.
Some
Some of these cats.
I always
2
think.
Chainz got to be going on 55. He's about to get ARP card. Ain't he?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know a lot about them. I just know that it's just noise, and I just move it on out of the way. Only reason that I would know people like that is because I have kids, and I do hear it mentioned, or I see them in some other show passing or whatever. But that's just not something that
I mean, do you think that hip hop and rap music has just like gone too far? I mean, really, to the point where it is actually doing damage to our generations?
Well, I think so. I think it's
definitely
been
agree
that
too.
way for a long, long time.
Yes.
To be honest with you.
What do you, in your opinion, what caused this shift in the music, and when did you start seeing it actually show up in behaviors for people?
Well, I remember for me, I remember when we were in going to University of Detroit, right. Together, and we were there. And I remember it was a young guy. He was from Inkster, I think, something like that. And he came in. He was a real street kind of guy, right?
Okay.
And so he, at that time, we used to have little boom boxes. And
right.
stuff, and we used to
Everybody used to carry a radio with you.
Right.
Yeah. So, but anyway.
Tell y'all ladies.
So he was telling us, so we down in this little student center, and he comes down. And he's like, "Hey, I got this new." Record, and it's called Dope Man. I want y'all to check it out or whatever. And so he put it on, and I remember looking at Pastor Rod, and I was like, what is going on here? You know, we grew up at a different era. When we were younger, we listened to rap music, albeit it was a different type of rap music.
Yes.
You know, where they talked about, you know, how sweet my DJ is,
right.
how much game I had, and that kind of thing. And
kind
then
of cars they could drive. And
or you had some of the East Coast rappers that talked about consciousness and black consciousness, things like that. So then it went from that to I'm gonna kill you, I'm drive by, shoot, kill the police. You know, this girl ain't about nothing, she this and that. And it was just like, hey, what is this? I immediately knew that was a problem. And then I started seeing the catch on with all of these other people. And then I truly understood how the devil is using music to just destroy generations of our young black people.
Wow.
It's so true.
I know that, you know, there's a lot of white people that listen to rap too, but I'm just talking from...
Well, you talking from your experience as a black man.
Exactly.
Yes. Right.
Exactly.
You know, I remember, you know, probably back in like 92 or 91, 93, somewhere around in there, when the Lord had given us a message. He told us that he hated rap music.
Right.
Yeah.
And he wanted our church to stop listening to rap music.
Right.
And so it was a rule that went out to say, hey, you know, stop listening to rap music.
Yes.
It wasn't a hard rule for me because at that point I was married and had kids and I was ready to do whatever it took to be a grown man anyway.
Right.
But I got rid of all of that crap. I threw all my CDs out. I threw all that records and stuff out. And I just think about how blessed I was to have had that happen to us at the time when it did, because my son was young, and just imagine what life could have been like for him had I continued on my participation in listening to rap music. Yeah. Then I know that they'd have grew up listening to rap music.
Yep.
And they'd have learned some of those wicked influences that we are talking about right now.
That's true.
And I just think about how blessed we were to have not been involved in that when they were in their formative years.
I agree. And you know, I guess for me, like, I don't remember that particular song, but I knew, like, even as a child, NWA, when they came out, and how they...
Same group.
Okay, yeah. So they came out, and it was like, everything changed. Like the shift changed, and then everything was hostile, and then it was battle rap and I hate you rap, and you know, it was like people going against people. Then people just started dying. Then Tupac got killed, and then Biggie got killed. I was like, hey, you know, that it should have been a wake up call. You know what I'm saying? But instead of being a wake up call, it seemed like people really gravitated into it harder, and then they started worshiping the people even in death. And it was like, you know, now it's Tupac University, and I want to go to Tupac University instead of going to Oakland University. And it's hey, you know, it is really took a turn, and it's like you didn't see that it was what it was doing. You're just gonna continue on that same route, on that same dark path. You know what I'm saying?
You brought up a good point about worshiping those guys.
Yes.
You know, this is Biggie's 20th year anniversary of his death, and so they got this whole, you know, say a Biggie verse, you know, rap your favorite Biggie song. The sales for old Biggie music done blew up the roof.
Yeah.
It's tripped out. I mean, and people are following something they don't really understand. And I guess my next question is, how do we see this shaping our future of our children, and how do we, you know, I don't know if we can ever say, how do you stop it?
Well,
how do you see it shaping the future?
I see it shaping the present already. I mean, you can look and you can see so many generations of kids out here that really all they care about is trying to have street cred and trying to emulate these rappers that's out here. And what do? They want to glorify the ghetto. They want to make sure that you're smoking weed and all of that stuff, or being some kind of a pimp, as though that is something to be regarded as high.
Well, you know, you're not really hard unless you've been shot 7, 8, 9.
You gotta be shot, and you gotta have a whole lot of women that you degrade on a daily basis.
Yeah, but you look at the thing that's happening already. Just take, for instance, the job situation. Right. And you got these situations. I remember when I was a really young guy, I was out there trying to find a job at this one particular place, and I wanted to work there really badly, but for whatever reason. But every time I would go, and back then they had unemployment offices. You go to this place, and then I would always be a day late. I'd have to take a day off to try to get in this place too.
Right.
And I always came a day late. So
okay.
it was like, oh man, you just missed it. It was 130 people that was down here that just applied for that job
position,
out there.
right.
Or not just that position, they were hiring large numbers of people.
Okay.
But then they were saying also that out of like 130, only like 5, 6, less than 10 people per crop would be able to pass the drug test. That's a direct result of that type of culture
behavior,
that's trying to be emulated, in everyday life. And so you look at that, you look at the state of our people, the young people. They seem like they just don't have any real motivation. They don't have any heroes really. Mm-hmm. We have Barack Obama. We have some people like that type of thing.
Right.
But look at the influx of all of the negative stuff.
Yes.
It's more
that's
negative
coming
than
in.
good.
It is.
In a sense.
Yeah.
And even with Barack, people will try to down him and say, well, he didn't do all of that much for black people. Well, he ain't do all. They'll find any reason to take the positive stuff and push it down, but continue to raise up this negative. Continue to don't forget about the hardest Tupac song you ever heard. Yeah. Who cares? Yeah, what is that going to do for you?
You raised a really good point, and you think about the influence that Barack Obama should have had on the black nation.
Yes.
And conversely, what's the guy with the dread braids that got all of the pretty girls pregnant?
Lil Wayne.
But they know every word to a Lil Wayne album.
Yes, that's so true.
But you can't think of 5 accomplishments that black president made on your behalf in the 8 years he was the president.
Well, you can't think of 5 accomplishments any of those rappers have made.
Well, I was going to go there next because they chose those as the role models, and for what purpose?
Exactly.
What did they give you that caused you, other than some music that you enjoy? What have they ever done for the black race? And that's one thing that I've wanted to ask.
But to help destroy it, they have done nothing but to help destroy it.
Well, some of them they'll have, they got foundations. Some of them gave gym shoes to the hoods, or they passed out the Nino Brown turkeys in the hood. Stuff like that.
Nino Brown.
But I'm asking, what true accomplishment, what true vision has any of these rappers that people look up to as role models done for black society?
Well, the question the short answer to me is if it is anything, it's hardly enough.
It's not sufficient.
Exactly.
It's not sufficient. But I want to go back to what I said is the devil is in that music.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you see these kids and they out here, they shooting, they killing, they trying to join gangs, they drugs, all into the drugs. Nobody's trying to go to school. Nobody's trying to do anything.
True.
The thing we always talked about. What are the businesses that you actually see? When you're driving by in the city, and that we own. Many of them is barbershops and car washes.
Yeah. And
people feel like they can't aspire to anything greater than that unless they can somehow become an athlete, and then everybody thinks they're going to the NFL or the NBA.
That's true.
And it's a shame because we should have a lot more than that. And people don't see it. They're looking at the short thing. Oh, this is a great song and this and that and this and that. But what the words that they're saying to these kids is getting in their ears and down in their hearts and in their minds, and it is taking them over.
And it's showing up in the way they behave, and
absolutely,
exactly.
And the way they dress. The way they dress today. I remember, and look, I know I'm dating myself, but I remember when you had to dress to go places.
That's true.
I remember when people used to dress up to go to the airport. Now that might be a little beyond most folks' scope.
But I remember
people dressing up to go to concerts and dressing up to go to plays and dressing up for dinner, and man, you just cannot find people that will dress up no more. And then the thing is, they'll look at you and say, "Oh, you doing it over because what you got a suit on for?"
Oh, well, you must be going to a wedding,
right?
Because you look nice, and it's like, no, I'm just trying to look nice.
I think that was a direct relationship to the music that they listen to today, and those people that they watch on television. That where Lil Wayne can wear leggings, he on stage, he ain't trying to get a job,
right? But you gonna wear that to your job interview and then wonder why you
can't get a job.
And it's like
you walk around with red gym shoes on and wonder why won't nobody hire you.
Right, and now you want to blame it. The white man holding me down. No, Lil Wayne is holding you down, and you keep listening to him.
So if it's true that you are what you eat, what about what you listen to?
That's true.
What you hear, what comes in between here, right?
Yep.
We know what happens when you eat the wrong thing, right? But what happens when you constantly getting bombarded with negativity, negative things, with with all of the street stuff or the street conscious garbage, right?
Right.
And it's just going down and down and down. And at some point, it's got to come out.
Right. It's going to come out in your behavior.
And these kids, they you know how it is when you listening to rap and that kind of thing, it gets so in you that you start quoting it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And we know from a spiritual side how powerful it is to speak words out, right?
Yes.
Because you speak things out into existence. Being made in the image of God, we have power.
That's true.
Exactly.
And people and church folks, saved folks ought to know better. But we sit there and we listen to that kind of stuff all the time. I remember we listened to this preacher one time. It was really, really funny that he said this. He was like, hey, we too poor to be listening to anything other than gospel.
Exactly.
Because, the thing that's wonderful about gospel music is that it's uplifting. It's inspiring. It's something in the words. And when I speak those words and I recite those words, when I allow that to get down in my heart and mind,
believe.
something good happens. I can take that faith that I heard from this simple song and just apply it to my whole day.
Exactly.
It can change my whole outlook on
my
my day, my life. And it's just amazing. I bet if they ever did a study with a group of kids that only listen to rap and only listen to gospel, how the two of them would turn out.
Yep.
Yeah, that would work out.
Wow.
And
well, the
because
scripture said bad communication corrupt good manners.
Exactly.
So if all you listen to is bad communication, anything good in you is going to become corrupt.
That's true.
Yeah. And it's an influence.
It is.
Yes,
I was about to talk about the influence on
I'm
it.
sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I was just going to say that there's millions of influences out there, but what's most important is the influence that they get from home.
Yes.
And how do you make sure that your children that you are in control of the influences that they receive to as much as you can?
Right.
Because they're going to get influence from the outside as much, whenever they go out there. But how do you make sure that you have a foothold on them or a handle on how much influence they receive from the world, and ensuring that the influence that they receive from you remains the most strong?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say you can start by making sure that like for example what we were just talking about. Make sure that they don't listen to they are listening to gospel and that's the main focus. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that they can't listen to other music because they're gonna listen to it anyway. But you know why? And if you're in my car or if you're in my house and if I'm listening to something on my stereo, you're going to listen to what I'm listening to. And if I'm listening to gospel, that's what's going to be in you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be more in you then. And then you might can sneak some rap. But that's a sneak. That's something that you're not going to do all the time. It's something that you have to sneak and do.
Can't get as much done sneaking as you can in open.
Exactly.
I agree. I also think that the best scenario is that they choose differently.
Right.
Yes.
And that I don't, at some point, for one, I have to model the behavior that I'm looking for them to follow.
Yes.
Right? But then at some point, they're going to have to be mature enough to choose what's right and know what's right and what's wrong and make the right decisions and have the discipline to follow it through.
Sure.
I was going to talk to you or say something about communication, right?
Right.
And then the basic communication is that if we having a conversation or we having a conversation, I am either influencing or you're influencing me.
True.
Right?
That's
so when I'm
true.
listening to rap music or whatever music, there is a one-way communication.
Yes.
Because I have no ability to go back and influence a recorded track.
Right.
Yes.
So all it is it's just in me coming all the way through me, right? And then it's so, and the proof of it is that I can go back and I can recite everything that was said word for word, stanza for stanza, everything that's in there.
That's right.
So
Which
if
means
you got
took it all
something,
in,
absolutely.
entirety.
So you bring something into your temple that's unholy, number one.
True.
And then you allowing it to sit there and then change your life and influence you in ways that you have no idea. That's almost like telling, asking a alcoholic and telling him to say that you have a problem. Well, he don't see it or she don't see it at the time, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. It's there and it exists. But sometimes a lot of these kids don't see it until they already have been incarcerated.
Right.
It's like, hey, I wish I had time to have done some things different in my life.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, just what we're talking about is I remember watching the entire generation change. I seen the culture change from when there was the fat boys rapping about food and Cadillacs to, people rapping about drugs and money and F the police and this and that. I mean, and I remember seeing the behaviors change my friends, my peers,
oh yeah,
were different. Nerds, you know,
they dressed different.
They dressed different.
Yep.
Nerds were now hard. Everybody wanted to sell drugs, be a dope man. Everybody wanted to be known for being a thug. And you know, it's so much now until they even call themselves a young thug and be wearing dresses.
Yes. Yes. Even the people that's doing the rap.
So I'm just saying that it's so wicked on so many different platforms.
Yes.
That it's not going to just influence you with the words they say. Then they're going to show you this imagery.
Yep.
That's going to cause you to want to jump after it. The other thing I just want to say this really quick about people that are aspiring to be rappers. We already know that the field is about that wide.
True.
For people to actually make it. It's just like anything else in the entertainment field or entertainment world. And to throw all your eggs in a basket of being a rapper, I think it's ludicrous.
Yes.
That's first of all. But then at what age do you give up?
Oh my goodness, right?
Please, somebody help me understand.
Well, let me just say this. Well, again, people have chosen all of the wrong heroes, right? And so they go out and their hero is an actor or a some kind of a rap artist or some kind of R&B singer, whatever. And what's the first thing? Whenever they're in an interview, you say, what would you have to tell everybody? And the first thing they say is, never give up on your dreams.
Exactly. No matter how old you are, no matter how you just keep going. Exactly.
You don't have no talent, don't worry about it. You'll make it. And that's really what they're saying.
Exactly.
And it's like, hey, at some point you have to listen. Sometimes you wasn't made for a certain thing. It's just like kids. Everybody think they're going to the NBA. At some point you got to wake up. Hey, you're not talented enough.
Yep.
You're not good enough for this situation.
Sometimes
you might be successful
as a parent,
somewhere.
you got to have a little tough love and help them understand.
Absolutely.
I tell my kid, I'm like, okay, let's get this straight. You 14, you 5'9", you weigh about 193 pounds. You're not gonna get in the NBA.
Right.
Let's go.
Let's get that book out.
Yeah. Right.
And show you how to work on the computer.
Right. Because a lot of times the parents are pushing it too. And that's another thing that's sad. It's like, why as a parent am I gonna tell my son, do it, Pookie, you can make it? You know Pookie don't got the skill for that. Why are you telling him to make it when he could be making it doing these book work and really do something with his life?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was going to say something about the influence, again, about the music. It's so true. When you said that you watched how it changed, I was with a group of people. We were out, we was having fun, and we was in the car. Actually, we was just in the car, listening to regular music. Then this rap song came on by DMX. And it's like a real song like that,
right.
Okay? So they turned it up. They started going crazy. They started punching the person in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
They just started fighting.
Yeah, because the devil had took over.
And I was like,
that's not.
Wait a second.
I'm not surprised.
So then somebody from the back seat, it wasn't me because I was on the side, turned it off and was like, hey. And they said, I'm sorry, it just make me want to fight. This song just made me want to fight.
Because it carries a spirit.
And I said, but you know, if that's changing you and making you do that type of thing, when are you going to say, wait a minute, this is maybe something different?
Because they actually end up liking the spirit that it allows them to be. It's the same thing with drugs or alcohol. It just breaks down your inhibitions and makes you more prone to do what you want to do anyway. You know, this is something that we got to, I think we got to pray about it.
Absolutely.
The other thing is,
okay.
The other thing is we got to really work on it at home with our children, because we got to help shape the new generation and help them see the dangers that we have all experienced.
Sure.
I just see this culture shift coming, and it's even worse than it was in the 90s when crack came out and NWA and all of them came out with all of that ugly rap music they brought out.
Right.
You know, and then the thing about it is those guys grew up.
And now they different, right?
They making Disney movies now.
Exactly.
But you wonder how those guys could feel knowing that they influenced thousands of people to lose their life trying to emulate what they were talking about.
Well, to be honest with you, they probably feel some sense of accomplishment that many people actually listened to what they said and took it to heart.
But if that's the case, then that's really sad.
It's really sad.
And you know what? And the other side of it is, and I haven't talked to anybody, I haven't had a conversation with Ice Cube or MC Ren in a long time.
Or ever.
Or Dr. Dre. But I guess my point is, they probably don't look at it as their fault.
But it is.
They are just putting out music that they thought was good, or they did something to create an atmosphere where they could actually make money. and they don't think about the after effects of it.
Wow.
Yeah, but you held accountable for that. I mean, you there's no getting around that, and I don't know how much you try to forget it or filter it out. You have to hold yourself. I mean, at some point, you're gonna have to answer for that. People here don't live forever.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that you see how wicked things are today, and how people is just all about money and they don't care about nobody. And but you know, you're gonna have to answer for that someday.
True.
And you know, and I just would hope that there would be some type of a repentance for that, because that and it ain't just the lost lives, but the lost generations of people, for that the generational curses that was started then, that's continuing, and you see the effects of it that continues on, and you can make money and make all of the movies you want, but at some point when you alone, you know, I would hope that God would at least stir their heart so that they can see that type of thing and cause some type of a change.
Agreed.
And man, I agree with that 100%. Good conversation.
It was.
I like this. I didn't know we was going to talk about this. I had something else in mind. We will do that in the next podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, hey, I asked a question and it kind of rolled into something, and this is a show of unscripted dialogue and discussions on social issues from a Christian's perspective, and so fit in perfect.
That's right.
You might think differently. You might have a different opinion. You might be a rap lover. You might love hip hop. I don't even know why they changed the name of it. But anyway.
I know.
Oh, you do? Well, enlighten us.
So they changed the name from rap because these new artists now are not really rapping. That's not what they do. It's not. They're not really doing rapping. Rap was back in the day. These new artists, a lot of them repeat the same thing over and over again and mumble, and you don't even know what they're saying.
Okay.
Is that your professional opinion?
No, seriously, I actually saw something on that.
Okay.
Yeah, because they mumble and they do like a, and that's what they do, and they're not even right. It's not even the same thing.
Well, if you know something about that, hit us up in the comments. Tell us about why they changed the name from rap to hip hop, or if they use them simultaneously or systematically. I don't understand why they did it. But anyway, we thank you for listening. We thank you for watching. Join us again at the Evangelistic House of God podcast. Hit us up at podcast@ehodministries.com. That's our email address. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and iTunes, and Google Play.
Sure.
We are everywhere you want to find us. Thanks for joining. God bless.
Good night.